had some illustrations here of different types of shirt collars. We have, for example...
I mean, these are all very, very subtle nuances. But for me, I think the two basic things to bear in mind is...
There you go. There you go. I bet you didn't know that. Does the height of the collar, then, have anything to do with the shape of the face?
Yes, that's the next point I was going to come to.
Back again with Proff, and today's episode is buttoned up just right. We're diving into everything you need to know about dress shirts. The stage is set, the shirts are ready, and so is Proff.
I used to wear white shirts a lot, but I think as you get further along and have the capacity to expand your wardrobe, you find that sometimes white starts in too stark a contrast against a lot of...
Of course. Plain one. So
Exactly.
here's two yellows.
So these are two yellows, as you can see.
Yeah. Now, I noticed, Prof, just on this subject, this one is not the same material as this one. Do you think, for example, that certain colors need certain textures or certain fabrics?
It depends. Again, it depends on the purpose. For instance,
Your shirt is the palette on which you place colors and textures, as the Prof has told us several times. Now, your shirt's probably the first thing you put on in the morning, and it's possibly, or probably this, maybe the second thing, and it's probably the second to last thing you take off at night. If you have a home to go to, if you pass out in doorways, then no, you keep it on, obviously. As such, it's often treated as an expendable item, but as Prof will tell you, every item has its place and plays a role in the grand scheme of things, even the humble shirt. So let's listen then while Prof tells us all about shirts, and we've got some examples for you to look at. Prof, welcome, and good to see you, looking dapper and dashing, and
as do you, Pete.
radiant. Thank you. Some people really think my suits are awful on the comment box. I don't know what it is, but I get appalling abuse sometimes. And these are AskOkey suits, Prof. These are not my own creation. These are AskOkey suits. Anyway, now we've seen this one before, but a long time ago.
Yes.
So it's like sort of cycling round like a planet that goes very slowly orbiting the sun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's a Prince of
It's the
Wales.
Prince of Wales. It's a sort of it's a brown sort of a mocha.
Yes.
Mocha, a chocolate mocha or latte
Yep.
mocha, brown background, and it's got these sort of pink and lime green over checks. But
Yes.
it is a Prince of Wales check indeed.
It is, and it's striking with those different, colors, because we usually see light blue checks or red checks.
Yes.
And speaking of shirts, you have a sort of a pale minty green shirt, I think.
Yes, this is sort of a pale mint green shirt in Tailor Voile, which is one of our premium fabrics we carry with Carlo
Yes.
Riva.
And we'll look at one or two of them a bit later on
And
separately.
This is a mint. This is a mint green, very light mint green. There's a darker green there.
Yes, I noticed, and I want to pull it out and have a good look at
So this is
it.
a mint green, very light green. It's a very, very subtle. It almost sort of looks like white from a distance. But
It could.
as you know, I'm very hesitant. I used to wear white shirts a lot, but I think as you get further along and have the capacity to expand your wardrobe, you find that sometimes white starts in too stark a contrast against a lot of suits.
Of course.
So, you look for colors that are light, but that step down a little bit softer.
Right.
So something like this is a mint green that easily could be substituted for white, but with sort of a softer transition rather than a sharp transition to a white.
Yes.
Or colors like ecru.
Right. The very light brown.
Very light yellow.
Light
or
yellow.
Light brown, or like a light gray.
Yes.
Or something like a very light pink.
Yes.
So these are all different ways to use color to replace white while not entirely going, off the reservation in terms, in a manner of speaking.
Yes, you're not going to bright red or jet black or something. So, yeah, and you've talked several times, and we've talked about this, the point that it's the basic garment. Now, I wanted to start with the shirt collars. We sort of start at the top and move our way down. And I had some illustrations here of different types of shirt collars. We have, for example, and then I wanted to look at yours particularly. Now, do you favor the, what is it, the straight point? Is that a straight point?
I like the point collar, which is what I have on. This is what you call a straight point.
Not a spread.
This is not a spread.
Okay.
It's a point collar. I mean, it's somewhat.
It's got points on it.
Well, point collar is sort of point meaning sort of it's a long point.
Ah, okay.
So a spread collar would be cut away that way.
A little bit, yes.
Some call it a cutaway.
And there's another one here called a cutaway.
So that's a cutaway. So the cutaway is an extreme form of the spread.
Yes.
I mean, these are all very, very subtle nuances, really.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
All, I guess only nerds would really sort of see the difference between a spread and a semi-spread and a cutaway. But for me, I think the two basic things to bear in mind is a point collar, which in my view is more classic. You know, the points are longer and they go all the way down.
Right.
A spread collar, on the other hand, is a bit wider. It cuts away wide.
Yes, I think mine is a sort of spread.
Right. So
collar,
yours looks like a semi-spread.
A semi-spread. Okay. So we've got a spread and a semi-spread. And then you have what these chaps call a cutaway, but I looked for it picture. We used to call it a Windsor.
Yes. Well, it's called a Windsor because it's usually worn with a Windsor knot.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
okay, so it's not the shape.
It's not the shape, really. So if you think about it, you know, I wear a 4-in-hand, which is a classic knot, which is a small knot.
With a slight angle to it.
With a slight angle to it. Now, a small knot would be appropriate for a point collar because the distance between the two collars is narrower.
Right,
With a cutaway collar, you know, it's wide.
So you need a wider knot.
It accommodates a wider knot, hence the Windsor knot. So that's why it's called a Windsor collar because it's cut to be worn with a Windsor knot.
And now I take it the Windsor knot.
And it looks very strange when you wear a wide or cutaway collar with a 4-in-hand knot because you have this huge gap there. Yes. It just looks a bit awkward.
Yes, it does. Now the Windsor knot, I take it, is the Duke of Windsor.
Correct.
Must be, yes. Isn't that interesting? Because I never knew that. So this, what they're calling a cutaway collar, is not actually a Windsor collar, because the Windsor collar sort of comes back, doesn't it? This is just more spread than the spread.
Well, I mean, it's the Windsor collar or the wide cutaway. I mean, this is a cutaway, but some of them are even more extreme.
That's right.
Some are even more extreme. They go all the way. They almost look like they're sort of pointing all the way backwards.
That's right.
And not only, I suppose if you want to go back even further, they used to be worn with these, those sort of ties that they wore in the days when they wore frock coats.
Yeah, like an ascot,
like an ascot. It's sort of like kind of a midway between an ascot and a tie that they used to tie all the way. So those shirts were often worn with those types of ties.
That's the real cutaway there.
That's an extreme, cutaway.
Okay.
Correct.
And then you have this one, interesting looking one.
That's a club collar.
Now, do you ever wear club collars?
I don't wear them. They almost, in this day and time, they border an almost costume. But there are those who like them, and they can be quite tastefully done. A lot of people who wear them with pins, with collar pins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's sort of it's a look, but again, it's
and it comes round your tie.
It's a very affected look. So there are those who are into that sort of thing.
Yes.
It's not the kind of thing you would wear to the office, for instance, on a business suit.
It draws too much attention to itself.
Yes. So on a casual suit, or if you really want to, if you're going to some sort of costume event,
right,
or period, or something, or reenactment or something, you could wear that with your pocket watch and everything, and your cane and your frock coat.
Yes.
But for your day-to-day office use, a club collar is just not seen very often.
No, it isn't, and I would hazard it hasn't been seen very often for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. But you can buy them, and there seems to be quite a market.
You could buy them, you could have them made.
Yeah, you could.
You know.
Now, this one here is the button down,
Yes.
and they distinguish the long and the short button down. Now, Hashim was telling me, or was it you, that a button down is actually a casual.
It is a casual
collar.
shirt. It is a casual collar.
Yeah.
It is because it's a soft collar.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
that's
soft
right,
collar.
yeah.
It doesn't have the lining in it. Because with the shirts, we use an interlining.
Right,
in the
okay.
collar to make the collar stiff, right?
Yeah.
So there's an interlining in the shirt. With the button-down shirts, there's no interlining. It's very flimsy. So they're not technically meant to be worn. It's not a starch collar. So
Right,
a starch
right,
collar
right.
is what we have, at least this is our modern interpretation of a starch
a
collar,
starch
which
collar,
is the
yes,
most
yes.
formal type of shirt
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
get,
yeah.
or dressiest type of shirt you
Yes.
can get. Now, a button down, which has more of a flimsy collar, is meant to be casual, is meant to be worn just, obviously, some wear it with a tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also something you could wear open neck with an ascot without a tie.
And in fact, a button down looks better when it's open than a regular collar looks when it's open. Because
Well,
it has more,
exactly,
more of a
because-
form to it.
Exactly, and it stands.
Yeah, it stands up. Yeah.
It stands up.
Yeah.
A regular dress collar or point collar, or sort of what you call a starch collar, a stiff collar, when you wear it without a tie, it just looks very sloppy.
Yeah, because sometimes it slides
It
down
just
under your
slides and
jacket, doesn't it?
It kind of lies askew
Yeah,
or that way
yeah.
or that way. It just looks very sloppy and slovenly.
But this keeps its shape quite well.
It does, especially when the collar is cut very well. If it's cut very well and it's tall, then it sits upright.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk in a minute about the height, because that's something I think that some people have asked about that. And then you have this band collar,
Yes,
which was very popular in the 80s, and it always looked to me like somebody hadn't got a collar to put on his shirt.
It's a very traditional look in the Far East, right? In
Right,
the East, in China, in India. Some call it a Nehru collar.
Right, okay, yes,
But
yes.
it's very common, and it's done with some of the traditional dresses, traditional shirts that are not dress shirts. So like in Philippines,
The barong, yeah.
the barong. So there are different traditions where shirts are cut to be worn outside, and the collars typically, again, I would imagine because of the climate, because
Who knows?
it's very warm or humid in those areas, in those
Yeah,
regions.
you wouldn't get...
Especially in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you from experience in the Philippines that the problem is the humidity means your collar loses its poise, shall we say,
Correct.
very, very quickly. So
So
maybe
something
this
like
is
this would be very convenient, suited to that sort of.
And if you don't wear a tie, then
then you don't need a
You don't-
collar. You
no.
don't need a turn-down collar.
no, you don't. No. And then finally, we have this wing collar.
Yes.
Now, strictly for evening dress,
Strictly
I guess.
for evening dress and even more strictly for white tie. So the wingtip or the wing collar used to be worn with white tie or evening dress. I don't remember the last time I've seen anyone wear evening dress, personally.
no.
Besides in photographs or
Yeah.
on the internet. But it used to be worn with very smartly, of course,
Yes.
with evening dress. Some wear it with a tuxedo.
Yep.
In current times, some would wear a wing collar
Like
with a
that one there,
tuxedo,
yes.
which I suppose is fine. I just have never done it. I don't even own any.
No, that's right. You don't, do you?
I don't
No.
own any. Well, because I don't own white tie. I don't own
No.
white tie
Well, you have very few occasions
to wear.
to
them.
wear a white tie. Really, very, very few indeed. I can't think of formal dinners like the presidential inauguration party is where you see it, but you don't see people wearing them. Now, so much for the shape. Now, when you talked a moment ago about the height, I wanted to ask about the dimensions, because your collars are quite big. My collars are, by comparison, very small. How do you get that? Is it measured to be a certain size?
Of course, Pete. Of course, if you think about it, and I've said this in a number of tutorials, the collar is what frames the face.
Right.
So it has to be perfect. You know, the color has to be
To be
perfect.
perfect.
It has to be perfect in proportion. It has to be perfect in balance with your face, and it has to
Right.
be, you know, it has to balance out your basically your bust.
Yeah,
Meaning,
yeah.
you know, your
torso.
chest, your
Yeah, upper torso, yeah.
upwards. Now, there are a few things there to bear in mind. One is the height of the collar. So we're talking about the dimensions. How do you sort of design
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right, the
yeah.
right collar? So you have to look at the length of the point collar,
Right.
and then you have to look at the height of the band. Because there are two things to bear in mind there. Is what do people see? They see this,
Right.
and then they see the amount of collar standing
Right at the back,
out
yes,
at the back
yes.
of your shirt. So the two things that we really pay attention to is the height of the collar from the back.
Right.
Meaning-
Now it sticks up a bit. Let's just, if you don't mind, Prof.
Stand
Sorry.
up a little bit.
Everybody getting a.
So the height of the
here.
collar would
It's about
be
half an inch
It's from here to here. It's about 2 inches.
from the
The
end
height
of the
collar.
height of the collar.
Right. So which means it should stick out about half an inch or
Right,
so,
right.
or quarter of an inch
Right.
above your coat.
Yeah, I think yours is about half an inch.
Okay,
Yeah,
so to
yeah.
get that, you know, the collar of the shirt needs to be a specific height.
Yes.
So we take that into consideration. And the other thing we take into consideration, of course, is the length of the point collar.
Right.
And why this is important is when you button your coat, Pete,
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There we are. Yeah.
your collar should be under the lapel.
Right.
Okay, the tip of the collar should not be exposed. So if
Right,
you stand
okay.
that way, okay, when you button your coat, the
Yeah.
collar needs to be properly tucked under the lapel.
Which it is.
Okay,
By about a quarter of an inch.
right. So
Yeah.
it must be long enough to be properly tucked under your lapel. You know, the collar shouldn't be floating
Yeah,
outside
yeah,
of the
yeah,
lapel.
yeah,
Otherwise, it just distracts the eye.
And so
these are the two key
Yes.
things to keep in mind when designing a collar is to ensure
Right.
that the point collar is long enough. Yours is slightly short, so
That's
it's barely
There we
getting
go.
there.
Yeah.
One is to ensure that the point collar is long enough,
Right.
that the collar is properly tucked under the lapel,
Yes.
and the second thing is to make sure that it's, you know, the band height.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's tall enough that it's tall enough that it doesn't get completely subsumed or
Right.
sort of hidden
Yes, yes.
by the coat collar, which
Yes.
means you should have about a half an inch to a quarter of an inch peeking out.
Yes.
So if your coat collar is a certain height, right?
Right.
You need to calculate the height of your coat collar, and then based on that, you need to determine what the right height for the
And then
shirt collar would be.
the point on your collar, Prof, are
Yes.
what, about 3 inches, I would reckon.
So mine usually I cut them 4 inches.
4 inches.
And that is, again, you know, that's a completely separate topic. So one is ensuring that it's long enough to be hidden.
Yeah.
But then beyond and above that, how long should it be?
Yeah.
I have a rule of thumb, and I've taught this on several tutorials, is that to establish that equilibrium, that balance in the frame, right? In your frame, as it were, in your mugshot,
Yeah.
as it were, the width of your tie,
Right.
the width of your lapel,
Lapel.
and the length of your point collar need to be in balance and in
There you
harmony.
go.
So-
So you can't wear that collar with, say, a 2-inch jacket lapel.
No, it doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. So for me to establish that balance, all of it. So my lapels are about, say, 375
Right.
or so, or almost 4 inches. So I mean, they don't have to be precisely the same,
Sure,
but
sure.
you know, within sort of a few centimeters of each other. So this tie, you know, obviously everything I'm wearing is custom made, including the tie.
Yeah.
So this tie is also about 375 inches to
So
4 inches.
it's the width of the lapel, essentially.
Exactly. So the
Curious
tie
enough,
is
so
the
is
width
mine,
of the
yeah.
lapel, and it's also the width of the tie is equivalent to the length of the point collar. Actually,
There you go. There you go. I bet you didn't know that. So when you're buying a tie, think about the shirt that you're going to wear with it. The length of the point should be about the same as the blade of the tie, the wide end of the tie, and that should be roughly the same as your lapel. And then it all looks as though it was all put together, doesn't
and
it?
you know the thing about it is, Pete, is sometimes people say, "Oh, you look so good," but they don't know why you look so good.
Right. Yes.
You understand
yes.
what I mean?
100%.
Like the eye sees what looks good, and the eye knows it looks, but it doesn't understand why it looks good.
Yes.
So
yes,
these
yes,
are the
yes, yes.
small, sort of minutiae
Yes.
that because I mean that's why we have things like the rule of thirds,
Of course.
right?
Of course.
We have all these sort of rules around design because these are rules. They're not just arbitrary. There's a reason why your eye finds them attractive.
Yes. Yes.
But the things that most of us don't know why. So this theory, which
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't say I invented it. I learned it from somewhere before I tried it out on myself. But then when people look at me, I'm like, wow, that looks so good. They don't know why it looks good.
Now, this is a really, really deep
Do you understand
topic.
what I mean?
100%. Because, as you said, it's a subconscious reaction, isn't it? Subconscious.
It is.
And you can talk about, oh, well, he looks good because his suit was made by a human tailor or something.
No, because
that
the
may
shirt
in fact,
is yellow or
or
whatever.
but that in fact may not be the
is
reason.
the reason.
It's something subconscious that the human eye and obviously the mind unconsciously recognizes when it sees proportions. Now, does the height of the collar then have anything to do with the shape of the face?
Yes, that's the next point I was going to come to. I've also treated this subject on one of our tutorials, one of our reels. There's the rule that if you have a thin face, so you're always seeking to establish balance.
Right.
So if you have a thin, long face,
Right.
you want to avoid a thin, pointy, long collar because it makes
Right,
your face look
okay.
even longer.
Yeah.
So if you have a thin face like you have sort of a long face. So you have a thin face, a thin-ish face, not very thin, but thin-ish face. So you would want to wear a cutaway or wide or a spread collar.
Okay.
You would want to wear a spread collar. You want to stay away from extreme point collars
Oh, interesting.
because that only serves to elongate your face even further.
Yeah.
So I have sort of a medium face,
Right.
So it's neither narrow nor wide. So with me, I could really sort of have a bit more of
Yes, you do. Yeah.
leeway. I could go with a point collar.
Sure.
I could go with a sort of a somewhat spreadish collar.
Yes.
And so for those who sit at the extremes of the spectrum, you have a very long, thin face, then you want to avoid
Yeah.
thin, long point collars.
Yes,
You want to
yes.
stick with, cutaways or a spread collar.
Wider collars.
Whereas if you have a fat face, if you're Fat Joe and you have a fat face, then you want to sort of balance it out by wearing longer point collars.
Yes, and you can get a collar that sort of points down like a spear point.
Like a spear point.
Which is interesting because they used to be, at one time they were very, very popular, and people wore them regardless of the size or the shape of the face. So that sort of tells you something about fashion, is that many things that are fashionable don't look very well on everybody.
On everyone.
No. So it's the
Like
height.
the skinny suit.
Ah, well, let's not, yeah.
That's not good.
Let's not get
Or
into the
skinny trousers.
we'll get drawn into something there. Treading on landmines, So it's the height of the collar, it's the shape of the collar. It's got to come back a certain amount up there, and it's got to be suitable for the shape of the face and balance the lapels and the tie. Really something that, isn't it? Now let me just refer to my cheat sheet here. So I wanted to ask you about colors, shirt colors, because we've got an example here, and somebody put this up, as usual, cyberspace, said these are sort of your basic shirt collars. Now, you prefer, as you've said today, the lighter shades. Is there a place for these darker shirt colors?
Well, you tell me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're quite attractive
I
colors.
mean, they look very gaudy to me. I mean, look
Right,
at that.
yeah,
It just
yeah,
looks
yeah.
really gaudy. You look at that, it looks like a dark denim blue with a burgundy tie. It's just, there's no contrast.
Right, okay.
Same here, it just looks very strange.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
But
yes.
the white and the lighter blue
Right,
I
okay.
wouldn't pair this tie with, I would probably use a darker navy
Right,
tie.
right.
But white and the light blue sort of lend themselves a little bit more to, to being accessorized
Yeah, okay.
widely. You could pair more ties
Yes.
with a white or
With
a
the
light
lighter
blue
colors,
shirt.
yeah. And
You could pair more suits with them. With these, I mean, they're too dark to be worn,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, with anything other than just wearing them as a casual shirt.
so dark blue could be a casual one.
A dark blue could be a casual. That's a denim, like a denim.
Yeah, it is,
like a
yeah,
denim
yeah.
chambray color.
Yeah,
That's something I would wear. I certainly wouldn't wear a tie with it.
Yeah.
But I could wear it as a casual shirt
Yes,
under a sport jacket without
Yes,
a
you
tie.
could.
I
Yes.
could wear it as a casual under a tweed coat.
Yes.
Or tweed jacket or casual blouson or
Yeah,
bomber
sure,
jacket.
sure, but not with a tie. But you do have, I was going to say, speaking of colors, you have this very striking
Yes.
piece here.
It's a beautiful, sweet, I guess I would call it, what would
you
I
call-
call it?
what do you call that,
Sort of,
yes.
it's a very beautiful aquamarine blue.
Aquamarine, okay.
Okay, it's a
yes.
beautiful aquamarine blue, and I love this because it's a summer color, and this
Yes.
is done in linen.
Now, do you wear a tie with this?
No, of course not.
Ah,
this
okay.
this is a camp color. You
Oh,
can
is
see
it?
this
Oh,
is a
I
soft
see, okay.
color.
Ah, right, okay.
You could see it's a soft color.
Oh, right, because it's made with one piece, isn't it?
Yes, it's one.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
one-piece color. You
There we are,
call
yes,
it,
yes.
We call it our Cooper collar shirt.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
It's a one-piece collar. It's worn casually. Usually,
yeah.
I wear them with an ascot.
So that's why it's brighter or
Exactly.
more saturated?
It's more
Is that what you call it?
saturated
Yeah.
blue, because something like this I wouldn't wear. I might wear it under a sport jacket in the summer, open neck or with an ascot. But this is that's certainly not something, a collar I would wear with
Right, you wouldn't wear a tie with it, no.
Correct.
Neither the color nor the collar.
neither
Yes,
the
yes.
collar nor the collar is not even meant to be
No,
worn
no,
with
no,
a tie
no,
because it's a soft collar.
Yeah. No, I get
We
that.
call it a Cooper collar.
And it's rather an interesting fabric. Can we get a close-up of the
Yes.
cloth here?
So this is one of our premium fabrics.
Certainly
This
is, isn't it?
By Carlo Riva.
Yeah,
It's called Lino Arsenal.
right.
This is called Lino Arsenal by Carlo Riva, Italian.
Yes.
I like to say Carlo Riva is the Rolls Royce of shirtings.
Yes.
So there are two top shirting makers in the world. To me, number one is Carlo Riva. Number two is Alumo of Switzerland.
Right,
And they
okay.
both supply us. But for our premium shirts and our premium customers, this is the fabric. We get most of our fabric. I'm also wearing, this is also a Carlo Riva
Carl
shirt. I
Riva
have
shirt.
on.
Very nice. We'll be back in a moment after a couple of words from our sponsors. Are you the best dressed man in the room wherever you go? If not, why not? It's not that difficult. AskOkey makes bespoke suits, jackets, trousers, and other garments for discerning men all over the world. So next time you look around and feel that you're not quite presentable, give us a call, send us a mail, or send us a direct message on the social media channels, and we'll kit you up to look like a king. Bye for now. Welcome back after a short break. Now, let's take another look at Proff's shirts. This one, we just looked at this bright blue Lino Arsenale shirt, and now this one, Prof, this is a dress shirt.
Yes, this is a Tela Voile.
Wow.
So this is a beautiful, beautiful cotton, also by Carlo Riva. Just
Yes.
really, I mean, you can touch it. It's
Yes.
just actually, it feels like silk.
But it isn't.
It's not silk, it's
cotton. Cotton,
But it's
there we go.
so refined, so
Yeah.
beautiful. And like I said, Carlo Riva, for me, is the best shirt fabric maker in the world. No questions, hands down.
And this is the same size as all your collars.
This is the same size
Right,
as all
okay.
my collars. So like I said, that's the point collar from
Yep.
there to there. It's about 4 inches thereabout.
Yeah.
And then that's the band height
There we are.
of
This
these-
part is what you call the band of the
the
collar.
band,
Yes.
which is the band height, is that
Yeah,
distance
yeah,
from
yeah.
there to there.
Now, speaking of, if we move down from the neck, as it were, you don't like to have those pleats at the back. You just like a plain a plain back to the collar,
Well,
to the shirt, is it?
I don't like pleats because if it's a bespoke shirt, which this is, right? The point of pleats is to just give you a little bit more room
Right, okay, yeah.
to accommodate sort of a lot more movement in the back.
yeah.
But if it's a bespoke shirt, as this is, then you don't need those pleats because then it should be cut the proper way. So I
Right,
just find
right,
them
right.
superfluous
Yes.
on a bespoke shirt. If you were a ready-to-wear shirt off the rack, at Brooks Brothers, what have you, I could see the point of having those. But on your bespoke shirts, I don't think they're necessary.
Because some of the online shirt makers, they offer these options, so you can have a pleat or you can have that box pleat. Some
you
people
could
like
have the
that.
box pleat in the
box
middle, or
pleat
you
at
could
the-
have the
yeah, yeah.
pleats down the side.
That's right.
That way.
Yeah.
The only purpose they serve is just to give you a little bit more range of motion when you move your arm.
So yours is a really basic construction.
Just basic,
No-
with just sort of a plain placket.
Yeah. This is called the placket, is it?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
And this is all hand sewn, as you can see.
Yes,
This is
indeed. Yes.
Hand stitched all the way
There we
up
go.
to the bottom.
In a nice straight line.
With mother of pearl
Mother of pearl buttons.
buttons.
Wow. So there you go. That's what you get from AskOkey. Mother of pearl buttons. Now, you have a fairly high arm on your shirt, isn't it?
Correct.
A whole armhole
A
on
high
your shirt.
armhole, correct.
Yeah, okay. So you like a close armhole, but it's fairly loose.
Well, it needs
the-
to, absolutely. So as I always say, the two things to bear in mind when having a shirt made bespoke or MTM or custom, what have you. The only things that you can't compromise are the armhole, the fit in the neck,
Yeah.
and then the length of the sleeve.
Right.
Every
right.
other thing is really, up for
Right.
up for discussion or up for grabs. For instance, the width, how wide you want it, how relaxed you want it is really up to you. But the armhole needs to be high enough. It needs to fit properly. The collar needs to be snug. It
Obviously,
needs to
yeah.
be fit
That's the
properly.
thing that people will notice.
That's
yeah.
what people notice. And then the sleeves, of course, they have to be long enough.
Have to be the right length.
The rest of it, the length of the shirt and sort of the, how wide you cut it in the body
Sure.
is really a question of taste
And
or preference.
obviously, if it's too big in the collar, it looks like it just looks too big
Yes.
in the collar.
If it's too big in the collar, then you would notice, you would see the gap.
Yeah, sure,
Right
sure.
there.
And then it looks like you're wearing your father's shirt,
Precisely.
or your older brother's shirt. Now, as I said, you have a plain sort of a construction, and this is all one. But I noticed some of your shirts, you like to have the contrasting. If we look at this one here, for example, the contrasting Winchester, as opposed to Windsor,
Yes.
collar and cuffs. Now, what do you like about this white? Because it does look very smart. At
Well,
least-
it's more formal. It's more dressy and more formal. So a white. Remember, how did this come about? Remember back in the day when you had detachable collars. Men would buy shirts. They might have a few shirts, and then they just sort of buy a lot of collars, and they could wear
That's
the
it.
same shirt
Yeah.
every day for 5 days, and they would just switch out the collars because this is what gets soiled.
Yep.
With perspiration and soot and all what have you. So the genesis of the Winchester collar really comes from the days when collars were detachable.
Right, okay.
So that is the whole idea. Same with the cuffs, because again, the cuffs, you could detach them and just
Sure.
wash them separately.
Sure.
The body of the shirt itself hardly gets soiled.
Yeah.
Assuming you don't perspire a lot.
Yeah.
But in our present circumstances or present dispensation, laundry is very cheap.
Yeah, sure.
Shirts are very affordable, so
Yeah.
it's no longer a question of basically extending the use of one single shirt.
Yeah.
A Winchester collar is more dressy, and I personally use them for things like morning dress,
Right.
formal day wear,
Yeah.
and some really very serious business looks.
Right, indeed,
So
yes.
I'm wearing a very business, if I want to wear a very businessy look.
Yes.
I'd wear a dark suit, either in navy
Yeah.
or gray,
Yeah.
and I would pair it with a Winchester shirt, either these or something like that with the stripes. There's one over there with the stripes. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here we go.
There you go.
Now, this is a sort of a, what would you call, almost a, I don't want to say caricature, but it's certainly very, very redolent of, say, the city or the Wall Street, where, of course, you were.
That's my point. So there you have it. So something like this is, I used to call it a power shirt.
Yeah.
So if you remember the go-go 80s.
Right, yes, yes.
Greed is Good.
Yeah. Gecko.
Michael Douglas, Gordon Gecko.
Yeah.
Gordon Gecko wore a lot of these.
Yes,
in
he
the
did,
movie.
yes.
If you remember, the wardrobe, of course, was designed by Alan Flusser.
Yes.
But back in the 80s, this was a very popular
Yeah, it
look
was,
with
wasn't it?
bankers,
Yes,
with the Wall Street power brokers.
With the braces.
With the braces, of
Yeah,
course, and the
yeah.
Winchester collar. So,
Yeah.
so that's it with the Winchester collar. I personally, there are those who wear them, with all sorts of suits, but I reserve them for the most sober business suits.
Now, you can have this Winchester collar with the same,
The self, yes.
the self. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be white.
It doesn't have to be.
No.
It could be done with a self cloth.
Yeah. And these, as you've said, these are all cut in your own way. Do you ever think, could you have, for example, a dark blue collar with a striped shirt?
Dark blue.
Or a light blue collar with stripes here?
No, of course not.
Has to be white,
It
does
has
it?
to be white
Ah,
because
okay.
think about it. Back in the day, again, harkening back to tradition, all collars were white and they were stiff collars. So, a collar should be, it shouldn't be any other except it's the same color as the rest of the shirt. Right?
Sure.
But a collar should be, at least for a dress shirt,
Right.
should be nothing,
Yep.
other than white.
And so it is. And you've got,
Same with the cuff.
yes, and this color here is almost one of your darker colors, isn't it?
It's one of the darker blues.
Yeah.
Right. It's sort of it's still light enough to sort of to be able to wear this with any number of ties.
Yeah.
But for me, for a blue, this is as dark as I would go.
Right. I was thinking this is getting on the dark
Right.
side.
That's as dark
for
as I
Proff.
would go as far as a light blue or sort of sky blues go for a dress shirt.
Now, interestingly, you have this green shirt.
Yes.
Now, this is sort of a departure because I don't see any other green on your rack.
No, this is what I have on is a lime green. So
Very,
this
very
is-
light lime
It's
green.
a very light lime green. Now, you must have wondered what the hell was he thinking?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, we of course were Caloriva is one of our suppliers. And
Yeah.
One of my roles at AskOkey is to play the role of provocateur, or
The reluctant guinea pig.
the
Yes.
reluctant guinea pig. So,
Yes.
every now and then I'll try different colors. We have a swatch book here. So I saw this green. I was like, when you look at it in a swatch, obviously it's quite different, right? And then when you cut it into a shirt, I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, it's like kind of
Yes,
really
quite a lot of it,
whoa,
isn't
it's
it?
a lot of it.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at it in the swatch book, it doesn't look like a lot of green, but then when it's converted into a shirt, it becomes a whole lot of green. So something like this, I could still pull this off,
Right.
but it's very, very limited in its application or
Yeah.
utility. An example is I would probably wear this with a summer khaki suit,
Right. Okay.
like
Yes.
a beige,
Yes.
like a beige khaki suit in the summer.
yeah,
I could
yeah.
wear something like this with a beige khaki suit in the summer, with a dark tie.
Right.
Something
okay.
like that. But there are very, very few. I mean, I certainly wouldn't wear this on a navy blue or sort of even sort of a dark gray business gray.
Right.
You know, the suit has to be very light. Could be,
Yes,
like
yes.
a tan,
Yes.
or
What about one of those beige suits or the ivory-colored linen suit, for example.
Maybe with an ivory-colored linen suit, like a very light suit. You could also try something like this with sort of an olive.
Right. And you have that fox olive, don't you?
Right. So you could try something like this, like with like an olive suit, and you might be able to pull it off. But this is one of those shirts that you really have to have a lot of suits and a lot of shirts. This is what you call sort of an intellectual exercise. Like, okay, how am I going to wear this shirt today? And then it's going to take you. It's going to cost you an hour to determine how best to wear it.
Which is why I think we've never seen it.
It's not a primary color. Certainly not a primary color, and not something I would recommend as as your first.
No, but then on the other hand, some of us who are fairly pale, we might look a bit washed out in it. Then you have this one, obviously, this bright blue one here. Now this is a little bit similar to the one we saw. Yes. This also is unusually bright, Prof, for you.
Well, this is a dinner shirt.
Ah, okay. Oh, so it is. Yes.
It's got the Marcella bit.
Yeah.
And the reason I had this shirt made was because I was thinking about creative black tie ideas.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, if I wanted to wear sort of really something creative out there, a little bit eccentric, if I wanted to wear something like this with a very decorative dinner jacket, in jacquard or something really eccentric.
Right.
So I thought about this color. I said, I could make a dinner shirt that looks a little bit more interesting than just wearing a white dinner shirt, and that's how I came up with this. And this, obviously, it's not something. It's something that very seldom sees the day of, the light of day.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think we've seen it worn since you got it. Maybe with the green
tartan trousers.
The tartan trousers.
Right, and a dinner jacket. I had it on.
The green velvet one?
It might have been the green or the cream dinner jacket. I don't remember.
Yeah. But it's certainly creative, isn't it?
It was creative. Some might even say a little bit over the top, but there you have it.
Well, yes, but then that's the point about creative black tie, isn't it? Yes, and then there's this one's quite dark. Now, Prof, do we recommend yellow?
Yellow is a great color. I think yellow is a great color, especially for earth tones.
Right.
So we often get stuck in the world of whites and blues.
Right.
Because those are the most common things and most practical. But if you want to branch out a little bit, especially when you start wearing casual suits in earth tones, such as the shirt I have on, this would be the perfect complement.
You could.
To the shirt I have on, if you wanted to dress it down and not look too sort of businessy.
Yes, indeed.
So yellow is a good color in various shirts. I mean, this is as dark as I would go, but there's another one. If you look there, there's an ecru just right there.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So bring that. No, I want to show both shirts.
So this is the Winchester. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Just a plain one. So here's two yellows.
So these are two yellows, as you can see.
There we are.
Okay, these are two yellows. This is a bit of an ecru, right? So it's a very, very light yellow, almost white ecru.
Yep.
And that's a more highly saturated yellow.
Yes.
So these are colors I like to keep around to wear with casual suits because, it just sort of it's a bit more fun than your typical white and blues, which you go best with your typical business suits.
Yeah, and again, the business suit thing is a bit restrictive in some ways. Now, I noticed, Prof, just on this subject, this one is not the same material as this one. Now, do you think, for example, that certain colors need certain textures or certain fabrics?
It depends. Again, it depends on the purpose. For instance, more casual colors, right? So this is a twill. You can see if you look very closely.
Yeah, you can. Yes.
This is a twill.
Very fine twill.
Very fine twill. This is a voile.
Right.
This is a voile. This is a very fine.
Yes, it doesn't have little ridges, does it? Doesn't have little ridges.
Very fine. If you put it up in there, you can see how beautiful.
Oh, you can. Yes.
So this is more dressy. Just because of the hand. The hand is beautiful. It's very silky. The twill, even though this is a very fine twill, you can hardly see the diagonal patterns
Yeah, just
there.
a little bit. Yeah.
But anything with a pattern or twill or texture to it, shirt-wise, is going to be more casual.
right, right.
So your more dressy, your dressier shirts are going to be just, a lot finer and more refined cotton.
Interesting.
So that is,
Interesting.
the only distinction there. It's not a question of color, it's a question of purpose.
Right.
So you're more casual, even if your shirts are white or blue. The more textured the fabric is, the more casual its application.
Yes, and then you get something like this, which is
Yes.
a formal looking. So that, again, you're going to use this with your suits, but the fabric is, what do you call it? It's a sort of, it's not a val and it's not a twill. It's
This is a poplin.
poplin. Okay,
This is a bit more hardy. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a poplin tela.
right.
Again by Carlo Riva.
Right.
As you can see, you can feel it's not as silky.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
bit more
No.
sturdy.
Yeah, it's thicker. Yeah.
It's a bit thicker, a bit more sturdy.
And it's got very, very narrow stripes
Narrow
on it.
stripes,
Very narrow
yeah.
stripes, yes.
Right.
Now, the stripes are interesting because if it didn't have stripes, it would be a bit much of the red, wouldn't it?
Yes, these are
too red.
what you call hair stripes.
Hair stripes, yes.
So they're almost invisible. They're
Yeah,
very, very
yeah,
thin,
yeah.
almost invisible to the eye unless you come really close. So
Mm-hmm.
these are hair stripes. So again, with stripes, stripes are usually the thinner the stripe, the more dressy.
Right, right.
So if you look at the block stripes, so if you grab one of the block stripes over there
Right.
towards the end,
Yes. For example, this one.
yeah, I wouldn't choose that color. That's a bit. Just pick
Ah.
one of the white and blue ones.
Let's see what we've got here. Aha.
Correct. So something
are.
like this is this is called a block stripe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So this is in linen. It's a
Yeah.
block stripe. So something like this I would wear casually
Right.
with a
right.
casual suit.
Right.
In other words, I would
stripes about an eighth of an inch wide. yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the wider the stripe, the more casual the shirt.
Amazing.
I would wear this with a casual suit or with a casual look. It could be
Right,
a
right,
navy
right,
suit,
right.
but it a more dressed down look. The
Yeah,
finer
yeah.
the stripes. So if you pick out some of the thinner stripes right there in the middle,
Right.
you can see that.
So, for
thinner
example,
stripe.
this one with these, what you'd call these Bengal
this
stripes.
is a Bengal or this is a pencil stripe.
Pencil stripe. Okay.
Okay, so this is more dressy.
Yep.
This is more dressy, and
Sure,
this is
sure.
something. This is more suitable for your office suits or your business or your power suits or whatever.
So you wouldn't have a contrasting collar with those wider stripes.
I mean, if you wanted to have fun, you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it defeats. It's sort of. It's a contradiction in a sense.
Yeah.
Because the collar says formal
Yeah.
and dressy, and
Yeah.
then the body of the shirt says,
Casual, yeah.
more casual. So having it, I mean, I've seen it done.
Sure.
Because as you know, people will do anything
Yes.
that they won't get arrested for. At least. So I've seen shirt makers make those block stripes
Mm-hmm.
with a contrast color. People wear them and buy them. Not me. But again,
No.
if you want to sort of really get down to the classic, sort of the basics, the language of dress, a white collar means something that is super dressy.
Sure.
Whereas block stripes or broad stripes are just inherently less
Yes.
dressy or casual.
Yes, and then I noticed also, if we move down the arm, as it were, sometimes you have these button cuffs, and other times you have the French style cuffs.
Yes. Yes.
And is there a reason?
Well, the French cuffs are used mostly for suits.
Right.
Suits and dressier shirts. So if you look at most of my white shirts are going to be French cuffed. And the Winchester collars are going to be French cuffed.
Right. So
Besides those, so that's a white shirt.
here's
for
an
instance.
example of your
Here's an example.
very, excuse me, basic white shirt.
Yeah, again, this is...
That's an evening dress
This is
shirt.
an evening dress shirt.
So it is,
but,
sorry, yeah.
The rule still stands. It's
Sure,
a dress shirt,
sure.
so it comes with a French cuff.
Yes, and you have a collar button here, but you have these little holes for the studs.
For the studs, that's
Here.
for a dress shirt. That's for an
Yeah,
evening shirt.
yeah.
So we make the holes here. These are supposed to be black, studs in onyx or
That's
whatever.
right. Yes.
Suits
So,
the fashion.
so if we look at one of them, one more here, for example, this one, I think. No, not that one. This one here, and this is Val, is it, or is it Twill? I think this is Twill.
This is twill.
Yeah, this is Twill, and this has the French cuffs,
This
as you
has the
said.
French cuff.
Yeah.
So this is a twill. So this is a plain white dress shirt
Sure.
that I wear with a business
Sure.
suit.
Sure.
So something like this I would wear with, I would make with a French cuff. But all the other shirts that I either could wear with a casual suit or a sport coat, I just prefer simple.
Just regular cuffs,
simple,
yeah.
regular barrel cuffs.
Barrel cuffs, they call them. Yes. And actually, if you look at this, see, when you're not wearing the tie, the collar looks deceptively wide.
Yes.
But once it gets there,
Yeah.
then it looks okay,
Well,
doesn't it?
because when it gets there, it's sitting up on your
Yep,
neck.
yep,
Right
yep.
now, it's just flat.
It's just flat, yes.
So what you're seeing is the height of the collar that makes it look wide,
Yes.
or the length of the point collar.
Which, of course, you don't see
Yeah.
when you're wearing
When
it.
you're wearing it, exactly,
And
because
it-
it's sitting
Yes.
up straight.
So there we go. So shirts, everybody, from the top all the way down, and you can get what they call slim fit, regular fit, and then I suppose the usual. And the slim fit shirt is an odd thing, because why would you want a shirt that, unless you're sort of Superman or something, and you have something, or Scott Markey, the guy that watches us, Christopher Scott Markey. I can see him wanting a slim fit because it would sort of enable him to expose his muscles. But the rest of us, I mean, it would just make us look even weaker and weedier than we already are.
Well, I mean, the whole point of a shirt, first of all, is, and I've often said it, shirt is underwear.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So it's basically, in a classic sense, it shouldn't be seen. It shouldn't be seen. It should be under your coat at all times. But as with all other things, fashion forward. Designers take license.
They do.
And,
They do.
When the skinny suits and skinny trousers came, the skinny
Oh,
shirts weren't
yes.
far behind. But
Indeed.
the whole point of a shirt is, one, it's underwear, so it needs to be very comfortable.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So think about your tidy whities or your tighty
Yep,
whities,
yep.
right? Would you want them, strangling your nuts?
Exactly. Well, no, you're right.
I certainly hope.
There is
I certainly don't think so. Certainly not mine. So in the same way, if you look at your shirt as underwear, you don't want it.
No.
You don't want to be strangled in your underwear. So it should be very comfortable.
Yes.
It should be cut in a manner that ensures it's comfortable.
Indeed, and that's, I think, the best verdict on that subject. Now, just before we close, a couple of comments we had. There's a guy called Chris Thompson out there. He watched the hat video that we did, and he said he's been to Monte Cristi, and he lives in Ecuador, and he's never seen a hat that cost more than $200.
Yeah, I read that comment as well.
Oh, did you? Ah, okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's like somebody says, I live in Russia, and I know exactly where the Yugo plant is, and I can't fathom the idea that there's a car called Rolls Royce that costs $500,000.
Right, okay.
It's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
the same thing.
okay.
So it's,
These are
everything-
different Monte Cristis.
I mean, everything is within context, right? So a $200 hat is going to look like a $200 hat. So these things, they don't cost, they don't, I mean, obviously every tradesman deserves their markup.
Right.
But it doesn't cost $10,000 because it costs $200 to make, and then you're being charged, $10,000 for it. No, not at all.
No.
So, all due respect to Mr.
Thompson.
Mr. Thompson, I'm sure your hat looks nice on you, but a $200 hat is going to look like a $200 hat.
And the fact that it comes from Monte Cristi is not the reason for the price when you get it to Chicago.
Absolutely.
That's, I think, the difference. Yeah, quite a number of people seemed to agree with you that Optimo is a very good a very good maker. Another one, somebody asked, he wants to know if Prof has a purple suit, and if so, what color tie would he wear with a purple suit? But you have.
I do have a purple suit. I do have a purple suit in corduroy.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's a purple. It's a very deep purple-ish color. I mean, it depends. I mean, I have a number of ties in my wardrobe. I've worn it with several ties. I can't say exactly what tie to wear, but you develop an eye for these things, right?
Yes.
So you can't say, oh, this is a
Yes.
specific tie you wear with a purple.
That's right.
It depends on. I mean, you have to go with. For me, I just feel it. If it
There you
works,
are.
I feel it. So
Yes.
for whoever is asking that question, you have to sort of develop an
Yeah.
eye for color. And once you develop an eye for color, you will know what works. You wouldn't
Yes.
have to ask Prof.
No, and
or
you,
Pete.
you might be very careful when you wear that purple suit, because the wrong shirt, the wrong tie, will really
Get you in a lot of hot water.
spoil. Well, it'll spoil the whole effect. Good. Thank you. That's all we've got time for, and we look forward to being with you again soon. Prof, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Pete.
always a pleasure.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me.
Most welcome.
you.
Most welcome. It's your place. So yes, thank you everybody. Bye for now.
Prof.